next rally, how you get there without money. And then the car, we named it a car. If you Google one of these famous movies of the time called The Car, we named it after the car. It's a miracle thing. And we just kept on going because we had a vision, we had a commitment, and the zeal. So challenges are never insurmountable. You can deal with them. What would I do, my friend Garang from South Sudan, even from the point of view of wiper democratic movement? I didn't indicate yesterday we were confronted with the Gen Z demands on what they want to do. In fact, one of the things they wanted to do, that's why they are so properly branded, they looked at the party colors used on the headquarters of the party, and they thought it was not the same colors they are wearing. So Gen Z threatened the executive director, we are coming to paint the party offices. Active action. But we must allow them space. Within Wiper Democratic Movement, we have a chapter which is called Young Wiper Democrats. Even the Women League, Wiper Women Democrats. So I think that other political parties may have similar. We give special attention to people with disability. If a young man called Keter, who is a chair of people with disability in the party, he stammers, but he is able to communicate. So whatever it is, disability is not inability. He has excellent mind and is able to contribute. So there's a lot that we can do, and we are determined to mentor the next generation of leaders. What would I advise to our friends in Nigeria? Nigeria, of course, is Africa's largest. Shall I say democracy? It's Africa's largest country. Kenyans have a joke. They have a joke about Nigeria. Because Nigerians are very proud of their country. And if you watch CNN, you see Nigerian ladies promoting Glow or something. But there's this belief that out of every four Africans, one is a Nigerian because of their sheer numbers. And so the rest of the continent is very proud of Nigeria because they know if you use your numbers to bring change, we know you're dealing with extremism in the north, in that areas of Kano, and the extremism is different, it can be dealt with differently. But this Kenyan mother goes to Nairobi hospital and gave birth to her fourth child. And suddenly she was in a depression. So she has asked, what has happened to you? She said, I gave birth to a Nigerian. Because she believed out of every four children, every four Africans, one is a Nigerian. That, of course, is a joke to tell you that Nigeria is very important. And when things don't go right in Nigeria, the rest of the continent gets affected. But so very little advice to give to Nigeria. But we think that even the Gen Zs in Nigeria, I think, have been coming up in Ghana. Yeah, in Ghana. The thing about Gen Zs is across board. Because age limitation is very well defined. And if you enter their space, they can throw you out. So I think this agitation for open governance, so that leaders stop stealing from their people, that message should resonate across Africa. From Nigeria, our largest democracy, to South Africa, to Kenya, to Egypt. By the way, has it occurred to you what the Gen Zs are doing is pretty equivalent. It's a very easy comparison to the Arab Spring, which swept across northern Africa. When a young student unemployed in Tunisia burned themselves up, then there was their pricing, which became eventually known as the Arab Spring. Swept across even Libya. We used to have the brother leader there. He was killed badly. And I think Africa at some stage must ask themselves whether what happened in Libya was correct. Because that country has remained unstable since the demise of Muammar Gaddafi. But the Arab Spring swept across Egypt and everywhere. So the Gen Z revolution, I see is going to sweep across Africa. And it is going to be the time that Africa will then come up. Because if we stop stealing from ourselves, stealing and getting dictatorship by the Bretton Woods institutions. In the 70s, I'm sure President Obasanjo may have shared about the debt issue, a debt problem in Africa. Himself is a very good example of how you can move from a military leader, call it dictator even, because military leaders are really not very democratic. He transformed himself, which is a very good example of how African leaders can, first of all, begin to change from within and then change the continent. President Obasanjo is a very good example of how you can create democracies in Africa. So I think that my advice then is nobody should feel scared by the Gen Z revolution, because it's for the good of this continent.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your responses. As we see, His Excellency is a strong proponent, for youths, and I thank you so much for the genuine heart that you have, in terms of just empowering us. So we're going to move on to the next round of questions. So I'll take questions from this side, and I'll come back here. Ladies, again, like I said, we want to hear from new people. We want to hear new perspectives, because some of us have been here throughout the conference, and I know we have new faces. So I'm just going to go all the way back here. I want to hear from you. Introduce yourself, tell us your name, and go right in.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony. I am a Gen Z here in Kenya, and we are so glad to have you here today. So my question, actually, why, from the information that we do have, is that Africa, in her bellies, we are endowed with the resources that are able to sustain us, and we can move our development goals. Why are we beholding to the West? The second one and the last one. All right, the last one. Okay, the last one is about Agenda 2063. If you look keenly, the people that come up with the Agenda 2063 will all be dead by 2063. Can we come up with goals that we